The Artful Escape is a game that I would happily call one of my games of the year. Likened to a burger, if done right, it is amazing and has only a few layers. The story represents the bun, a soft on the inside yet crisp on the outside brioche bun to be specific. The art style and art direction may represent the perfect pairing of cheeses, offering the right amount of funk, sharpness, and stringiness, melding the burger together into a seamless piece of art. With the layer of music being the juiciest, most tender, grilled to perfection Wagyu beef patty you've ever had. Burger analogy aside though, The Artful Escape is a beautifully crafted game made with as much love as your grandmother's cookies. To show this, I'll be going over the three important aspects of the game: music, art direction or the art style, and the story. It's no surprise that music can go a long way when it comes to building atmosphere and eliciting emotion. The horror genre of media seems to perpetuate this notion most prominently and obviously. Jump scares, uneasy atmospheres, horror uses music more than liberally to elicit a response from the audience, so that when you hear this, you can expect this. Without music, the horror genre would be left relatively limp, as music tends to define what makes something frightful versus what makes something beautiful or funny. The Artful Escape uses this formula in spades, though rather obviously, in a much less frightening fashion. Taking inspiration from Bob Dylan and David Bowie, The Artful Escape's music alone can take you on a journey from a small, dead-end town in Colorado to the fingertips of the cosmos. Music in this game plays a significant role in defining the protagonist, Francis Vendetti, in addition to other characters and even other worlds. Take this alien, for example, who speaks exclusively in jazz. As such, the music often takes on a life of its own, evoking a sense of grand wonder and offering otherworldly inspiration. Sufficient to say, the music is astronomically good and allows The Artful Escape to stand out amongst other indies and AAA games alike. Ranging from neutral colors, familiar earthly and humanly forms, to neon-colored, impossible, and otherworldly concepts, the art style is vivid and truly wonderful. The art style is awfully reminiscent of a drug-induced trip an individual might have on some hallucinogen, not that I'd know. That said, I won't question the conception of such unique designs, as I found myself often awestruck at the immensely beautiful landscapes and vistas, whether representative of familiar environments or of alien worlds inhabited by musically driven alien lifeforms. As such, the 2.5D perspective of the game, while one might think it restrictive, does not hinder the scope of the game, but rather allows the mind to freely wander the shores of distant galaxies and planets with the aid of the uniquely cosmic art style.
We, mankind, are just 62 miles away from the infinite. On the far side of a thin film of atmosphere lies a tundra beyond the limits of human comprehension. The universe, in all its grandeur, its wonder and desolation, waits mere miles away. The stairway to the great cosmic symphony is at our feet.
The story, on the other hand, is simple and beautiful. It's about, as the game puts it, becoming someone else entirely. Becoming someone who you are comfortable being. Additionally, the game includes notes of acceptance, when to accept things, and how to go about acceptance. After all, you can't be comfortable in your own skin without accepting and understanding that your current self just isn't a good fit. The game tells its story through the lens of Francis Vendetti, a timid teenage musician who's expected to carry on the legacy of his folk star uncle, Johnson Vendetti. Though only facilitated through expectations from others, Francis's desire to play folk music, let alone carry on his uncle's legacy, was never truly there, and he understood that. One fateful afternoon on a cliff not far from Calypso, hometown of the Vendettis, Francis decided to play not folk songs, but rather riffs and tunes reminiscent of David Bowie without the gaze and pressure of an audience, though he wasn't alone. Violetta, an apparent uninvited spectator, heard it all, thus marking the beginning of the artful escape of Francis Vendetti. Not long after, he is introduced to Lightman, the proponent of Francis's following endeavors, exploring new worlds, jamming with varying alien life forms, and ultimately becoming someone else entirely, becoming someone who he doesn't feel conflicted about being. The Artful Escape is a stellar game that hits all the right notes, mixing and turning all the aforementioned components into a cosmic ballad about Francis Vendetti and his journey to become someone else entirely. With music to evoke grand wonder and offering otherworldly inspiration, vivid and dreamlike art style that inspires mindful exploration beyond its 2.5D perspective, and a story of personal exploration and acceptance, The Artful Escape is a beautiful burger of a video game that I will order again and again and would recommend to anyone and everyone.